Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA here again to check in with Mr. Jack Jenkins after his big win on Rogue MMA on December 5th against Jason the Argonaut Petropoulos, taking his record up to 8 wins. Good one, bro. Really well done, eh?
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was a good fight. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, so, man, take us leading up to the event. How were you feeling for the fight? Like, was everything preparation? How were you feeling mentally when you walked into that fight?
Yeah, everything went pretty well. Obviously, with the restrictions and stuff, I think I said to you last time we spoke that I just didn't think I was going to get a fight because Eternal just said plain and blank, they're not matching anyone from Victoria. So I sort of like put to bed the idea that I'd get a fight for the rest of the year. And then, this opportunity came up and then Jason said he would fight. So I was like, yeah, sweet, 100%, let's do it. So we had a good long lead in, actually. Probably had like 7 or 8 weeks, which sometimes you don't get. So I was fit as fuck going into it. Did a heap of road work. All my pad work and stuff was going really well. And then, come fight week, I got the weight off like easier than I've ever got the weight off, really. Like the weight was no struggle, and putting the weight back on after the weigh-in. So sometimes you can make the weight and that's one thing, but then to get the weight back on afterwards can be hard. But I didn't have any issue. I was back up to weight by the time I went to bed after the weigh-in. So yeah, going into the fight, it was just focusing on getting the job done. It was the first time I fought in front of a home crowd, and I get quite a few people out there. So I think for me the challenge for that fight was to just stay focused and not sort of get distracted by the event or the crowd or anything like that, and just stay locked in on what the task was. And I thought I did that pretty well. So
yeah, man. Back on the preparation, not everyone knows that, like, being an MMA fighter, you put so much pressure on your body. So most people, as they walk into a fight, I would say nearly most people have some sort of niggling pain or injury or something. Do you have anything like that walking into the fight, or you felt like 100%?
I had a few. Like I've got a few little things, but I'll probably just keep them to myself. I've got a few injuries that you carry with you into every fight. I'm never, you never are 100%, and it's just constantly battling with mitigating one injury or the other or something like that. But yeah, as far as fight fitness, I would say I was at 100% of fight fitness, but fight fitness isn't necessarily pain-free.
Yeah, that's true, man. And as you mentioned, like I had to purchase the event, obviously being overseas. So I watched it online. I watched it a couple of times after just to have a refresher. I just watched it today, actually. And definitely had good support at the show, right? Like people screaming. That must have been a good feeling, yeah?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed being able to fight in front of my friends and family again. And obviously a lot of people from my gym were there because the undercard was pretty filled with people from Absolute, because we had the Wimp to Warrior fights on and that sort of thing. So it was really good.
That's awesome, man. And how did it feel to be back? I mean, like, you wanted to fight more, you were not being able to finally get back in there. Was that a good feeling?
Yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. There's always the stress involved with getting ready, but once I get to the day, I'm pretty good now at just locking in and enjoying the moment, which I did. And I think Jason enjoyed it too. We both had a good fight. He had his opportunities. He got deep in on a few shots, which he saw as his path to victory. I just managed to defend them early and then got my game plan going fairly quickly. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, like you mentioned, his game plan was obviously to take it to the ground where his strength is. He got you on a couple of double legs and shot a couple of doubles, and luckily, or well done, you managed to defend and get out of everything. So that was the path to your victory, is stay away from that and piece him up on your feet, right?
Yeah, bloody oath. Yeah, he was when he caught a couple of my body kicks that I threw. That was probably a little bit premature of me to start ripping body kicks. Because he was so fresh just to be able to grab onto them and then shoot in. And when he was there, he was strong. So I was kind of like, shit, better get myself out of here. And but yeah, managed to scramble pretty well and get back up to my feet, which I was happy with.
Actually, man, talking about the body kicks, I think in the first maybe 30 seconds or something, you landed a left body kick that looked like a really solid kick. So that's probably why you kept trying it, man, because that would have done damage, that first one. I don't know if you remember that.
I reckon probably, if you watch my last fights, you would consider my right kick, especially that leg kick, to be my number one weapon. But I think if you could compile like my sparring and, watch me hit pads and stuff, you'd probably switch your angle and think that my left kick's my best weapon. Even, that's what I think, and what I know a couple of my coaches think as well, that my left kick's probably my best weapon.
Yeah, man. And as you mentioned, those low kicks, obviously that's the key to your victory with him, where it was smashing in those low kicks. You started pretty quick with a right low kick to the calf, did some damage. And by the time you got to the second round, he had welts all over his leg. And, you know, it was only a matter of time if you were able to land that calf kick a few times that he would go down, right?
Yeah, for sure. And once you take away his mobility there on that front leg, he can't drive in and shoot anymore, which is the key. He doesn't, you know, what Jason does well is like he times good double legs. And you even saw that with me a couple of times. Like he dropped down at the right time to get in tight. But he wasn't as skilled at like using clinch from the cage or, you know, over under, sort of more of a Greco style clinch. So if you can take the pressure away from him being able to shoot in low, then you sort of already won half the battle. And when you kick that front leg, then that's what you do.
And you're explosive and fast in the scramble to get out, right? So this is another thing that's countering because he wasn't reacting to your scrambles as well. You were just bang, bang, bang out, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then try and put the pressure on straight away. Like try not to disengage from the, you know, from the range altogether. Just get back to my range and then sit there again.
Yeah, man. And like getting into the ring or the lead up as you're walking in, you look nice and relaxed, man. When you started out, looked a little bit tight, but you sort of started to loosen up as the fight progressed. Did you feel that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the longer a fight goes, the better I get. I think, you know, my record has probably shown that, even though I haven't gone out of the first or second round very often. I think the longer I go, the better I get. But I am getting better at sort of starting closer to that ready to go point rather than being a slow starter. So it's all just about learning to go, hey.
So as I mentioned, calf kicks with a finishing shot. You dropped him with calf kicks. He couldn't go on. It was about probably 5 or 6 calf kicks by the look of it. Did you confirm whether it was another break or not?
I haven't actually spoken to Jason. I'll have to talk to him. You know, but we spoke after the fight, and he couldn't even walk. So I was fairly certain. At the end of the first round, when I hit him with that third kick, I actually stopped and I looked at him and I said, I just broke your leg, because I was fairly certain that third one had sunk in deep enough that I would have hit the tibia. And then he said, "Oh, do you reckon it's broken?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to keep kicking it though." And he looked back at me and said, "Oh, fair enough, mate." Like he was game for it. He was there for it. And when he went back to his corner, like I said to my coach, I said, when he comes out for this round, because he sat down on it, once you sit down on it and it gets a bit of blood in it, then it gets worse. So I said, when he comes out for this round, I think it's going to be pretty sore. But I haven't confirmed if it was broken or not, but it was definitely close to, if not a stress fracture on the tibia.
Yeah, man. Like, as you know, you've already broken 2 guys' tibias or fibula, right?
Yeah. Well, I think I kicked him harder than either of those guys and more consistently. So, yeah, you do the math and think that it probably did, but I can't confirm that. I'll have to talk to Jason. If it is, man. I hope it's only a small one so he can get back to competing as soon as he can. I don't wish him any ill will or any lasting injury at all.
Yeah, I sent you a picture. Once in training, I broke the fibula before. Just got a good low kick, and that was padded, or the thin pads, but it was still padded, and it broke nice and clean. To be honest, with a clean break like that, it's back to normal after probably 8 months or so. I was back to normal, and that wasn't like really doing great, work to get it back to normal, and no problems after. So hopefully, if it is, it's nice and clean like that, and it can recover well.
Yeah, definitely, that'd be good.
That's it, man. So now you've added a new belt to the collection. The nice thing to have, even though you kind of were looking at Eternal, you've got the Rogue champ as well. So you got a couple of belts. What are the plans, man? What are your plans for 2022?
I'm looking at a couple of things. We're looking for feedback from the UFC on whether I can get on the contender series in June. That's obviously the number one goal. So we're just going to wait to see if we can get some feedback from them on whether that's a possibility or not. And if they're sort of being coy or not committing to anything, which they tend to do, the UFC, they don't really give you answers straight up. If that's the case, then we'll book another fight probably for March or April. So yeah, it'll be a chance to get a block in. I'm going to go over to Thailand, I think, and do some training there. There's a grappling camp on over there that I'll probably go and get involved in. I haven't spoken in great deal to my coaches about exactly what we do next. We're just sort of in that holding pattern where we're waiting to hear back from the UFC. And once we do, then we'll make a decision. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Who's running that? Sorry, bro. Go on.
I'm not interested in sitting on the sidelines. So yeah, whether there's an Eternal card in the Gold Coast in March, and I love fighting on the Gold Coast. I love fighting for Eternal. So if we can get a fight done there, we get it done there. If we can't, then there's a Rogue card again in March, so I can defend that belt. So there's options for me in that March-April period, and that's probably when I'll be looking to go again if the UFC doesn't commit to a contender spot.
Cool. Sounds like a good plan, man. Sounds like it's going to be productive either way. Thailand thing you mentioned, man, who's that running through?
It's through Absolute in Thailand, and I think Craig Jones is coming over to run it. Again, I've only sort of spoke to my coach Simon about this briefly about what we're going to go and do next year, because there's obviously so many moving parts. You can't make plans ahead of a fight. So you have a fight and then that goes well, and then you have a week where you're just sort of in the gym fucking around. You're not really doing any hard training. And then we've just started to pick our hard training back up, and we've gone, all right, where do we go from here? What's the plan? So we're sort of just in the preliminary discussions, and you've got Christmas and shit going on around that. So it's a busy time.
That's it, man. Anyway, man, so thanks for that. Just wanted to catch up and see how you're feeling about that fight, and see what your plans are for the new year. Good to hear you got a productive year ahead, and good luck with it all, man. I hope you can get that shot in the contender, and if not, hope you can get some good fights in Australia. Look forward to your next event, bro.
Thanks very much, Toby. Appreciate it. Good to chat to you.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
All right, mate. Thanks, Toby.